Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I want to talk about Gabe Taylor, who is Sean Taylor's younger brother, who just had a great pro day. I want to talk about the possibility of the Washington Commanders getting him after this draft. Also talk about some of the other guys that the Commanders are meeting with. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. So this is just like a good story talking about Gabe Taylor, not just for Commanders fans, but also, other NFL fans. But we'll talk about more specific stuff to the Commanders in a little bit, some guys that they met with or they're going to have top 30 visits with. But Gabe Taylor, this is someone that I've had my eye on for 2-3 years now. Ever since his freshman year at Rice, I was like, all right, maybe, the Commanders can go, ahead and get him after he declares for the draft, and he, put together a solid career there at Rice, and he's got some good traits. He's got the speed, and there's a chance he gets drafted. I would probably say, though, very likely he goes undrafted. Maybe a team takes a chance on him. There's nothing wrong with that, though. Him going undrafted, he's gonna get, he'll get looks as an undrafted free agent. He ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. At least that was, some people clocked him at that. Others at a low 4.4, but that's very good speed regardless. If it's 4.4 or 4.38, I mean that's really good regardless for a safety. He is a little bit, undersized a tiny bit for a safety, but it is what it is. I'll play a clip here from his pro day. I mean, it's very small. You're not going to be able to see much of it, but you just see him running there. I'll show this again, and I'll link the tweet here. Shout out to Aaron Wilson, good NFL reporter. So yeah, former, Redskins legend Sean Taylor, his brother Gabe Taylor. Let's look at some stats real quick. I was trying to look at some projections. It doesn't look like he's going to get drafted, but maybe he wows people in the pre-draft process. But 5'10", 190 pounds. At least that's what he's listed at. On the Rice website and then ESPN. I would guess he's probably a little bit smaller than that. 2020, so that's where he started, didn't play much. 2021, that's when he, started to actually play. Had 3 interceptions, forced fumble recovery. The next year, 2 interceptions. Year after that, 2. This past year, 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. That's pretty dang good production for a safety. I mean, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 interceptions. I mean, that's 5 turnovers forced plus 3 sacks, which safeties aren't usually able to get a lot of sacks. So for me, that's very good production. Obviously, it's not at a super high level. It's not SEC. It's not Big Ten football, but it's still competitive. It's still competitive. It's Rice. Luke McCaffrey played. Like there's multiple NFL players that play there, and teams they play. They definitely still play competitive teams. You look at some. I'll go ahead and look at the game log just to show you guys the teams that they played. I took a peek a little bit at some of them already, but they played. So, some of the teams aren't very good, but he did play. Memphis. That's not a bad football program. Navy. Let's see, any other teams, Houston, Army. Like, it's not all, bad schools. Tulane, like he had, he played some good schools, and he had, Connecticut, UConn. He had some, interceptions in those games against, solid schools. Again, not elite football programs, but not, awful competition. It's not like he's playing D2 or just like low level D1. No, this is, they're playing good, solid teams. So Gabe Taylor, again, I don't think he's going to get drafted, but I think, he could go undrafted, or he'll probably go undrafted, but sign as an undrafted free agent somewhere. That's my guess. He was invited to attend the Dolphins local prospect day, April 11th, and Texans too, but they're the same day, so I'm assuming he goes to the Dolphins because that's the way he kind of worded the tweet. That's my guess, but he's getting some interest. It's just probably not going to be draft day interest. He'll probably get picked as an undrafted free agent. Like the Commanders, all these teams, they host these, local pro days, and a lot of those guys, don't get drafted, but they'll come back for, at least get signed for a little bit and see what they can do. So that's what I'm hoping happens with Gabe Taylor. The Commanders are able to bring him in as an undrafted free agent. It would just be a great full circle moment, and I just think he's a little underrated too. He's got the good speed, he's got production, he is undersized, which could be an issue, but he's got some good traits, and you can't treat all that. And I remember when I was watching his high school highlights and stuff, his ball production was insane. Obviously it's high school, but he's a ball hawk. He has he would jump so many different passes, and I'm excited to see what his next step is in his football career. All right, some other stuff. So this was reported today. Quincy Riley, cornerback out of Louisville, he's got a top 30 visit plan with the Commanders. He's gonna probably go day 2 is what I'm seeing. He is a little bit older, also from what I'm reading, like 23 right now, but will be 24 by the start of the season. It is what it is. You're trying to win now. I mean, you're also trying to build for the future, but if you got a guy that can play right now, that's totally fine. And that's what Josh Taylor had to say. Another player the Commanders are meeting with is Josh Connerly, Jr., offensive tackle out of Oregon, top 30 visits. So top 30 visits, obviously it's in the name, but if you don't know, you get 30 guys that you can bring in, and they're more like, more in-depth meetings than some of the combine stuff. You get to talk with them again, you bring them to the facility, really get to know them. And I think, these are, some of them are guys they're interested in. Some of them are, trying to figure out their medicals. Some of them are trying to figure out their, if they mesh with the guy. Is the guy, someone that they want to have in their, room, in their, team room, if the guy fits the culture. That's kind of the 3 different categories that the players go in. Some of them fit into 2 categories or even 3. Some will be guys are interested in guys that have injury issues and maybe character concerns, and they bring them in to try to get rid of some of those concerns. And some of them they're just really interested in and want to get a better feel of the situation. But either way, I think it does show some interest in the player, and especially I think the biggest takeaway a lot of the times is the positions that they're going after. That's what you can really tell if they're going after a lot of tackles in these top 30 visits, or DNs, or running backs, or maybe a random position we're not really thinking about, maybe safety. Then you can be like, all right, might be a position they target in day 1, but maybe not day 1, but maybe day 2, because some of these guys aren't getting drafted day 1, maybe not even day 2. The cornerback out of Louisville, that Tony Pauline reported on, who has a lot of good draft sources. He usually breaks a lot of draft and free agency stuff. But this guy's probably gonna get drafted, 3rd roundish, maybe 4th round. So they're looking at guys that are not just day 1, day 2 prospects. So interesting there, but I think it's a good, 2 good guys to take a look at: Josh Connerly and Quincy Riley. And back to Gabe Taylor. Let's look at a little bit more about Gabe Taylor. He obviously a lot younger. Oh, Gabe Taylor. Yeah, Gabriel Taylor, because Gabe Taylor is a receiver, or Taylor Gabriel, whatever. But I made a video about him this past summer, but I'm trying to look at some things right here. So yeah, there's just not a lot about him, which shows that he's probably not gonna get drafted. Like NFL.com doesn't have a draft profile on him and stuff, but I think he'll get an undrafted free agent spot. I really do think he will, but hoping for the best for Gabriel Taylor, and it would be a great full circle moment if the Commanders can bring him in. I guess can't even open the article, but it would be a great full circle moment if the Commanders can bring him in and have him keep that legacy on. You see the picture here I have on my screen with the brothers there, so it's cool. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. Peace.